Hello, folks. Welcome back to Gabe Gaming. This will be my first episode on my coding series. Today we're gonna learn some of HTML, aka hypertext markup language, and there are many other kinds of HTML. Like most commonly used is HTML5, and um, what I'm using today is Code.org's WebLab. So, as you can see here, do you know what I'm gonna move mine? I'm gonna move that a bit. So, as you can see here, you can see I have this is default, by the way. Um, we're gonna rename this as test. So, this will be our test website for our tutorial here. So as you can see here, we have index.html. That is technically your main page, and we also have a CSS file. We'll talk a little bit about CSS in a future episode, but what it is that it technically makes the the design for your website. Um, how HTML works is that it goes through tags. So the start tag, as I like to name, is technically something where it's like the less than symbol and then the greater than symbol, and between both symbols there's the code. There's the line of code you want to use. I don't know. And then the end tag is technically the same thing, but there is a forward slash at the end. And how the so that is technically how coding on um this language what word? Oh, it's reading. Um, so how it works is that you might be wondering how the computer knows if it's HTML. Um, um, well, it's through this first line, which is um, it's less than symbol, less than symbol, exclamation mark, and then doc type, and then HTML, and then greater than symbol. There is no end tag to this tag. It just tells the computer what language it is, and the formatting of HTML is that. So how it works is that after this tag, there's also this tag, the HTML tag, and also the HTML end tag. You type those down, and then you put in your code in between. You put in your HTML. Um, so and what you want like on the top. So that's kind of how the computer knows how it's HTML. Um, and um, so you might be wondering why there is a head tag and a body tag. Well, that's kind of how. So think of the head as like the top of your website, and the bottom is just everything else. That's kind of how it works. And so as you can see here, we have head, and then we have the link rel style sheet reference style.css. It's technically, so what that line of code is doing is that it's technically um, telling the computer to use this for the design. Um, so that's kind of how it like knows how to use like a background. Um, um, if you have like I says a background white, it'll link this to the HTML, and then it'll say background, and then it'll be background white. The only time that the CSS file would work is through this line of code in the HTML. And also make sure that you're typing it right, because if you type it wrong, then it's gonna mess up your code. So what we can have for like a header, which is like so the header is like your title of the website. There is a title tag, but how that works is that it's technically like so you know in like browsers they name all the tabs. That's kind of how the title tag works, is naming those tags. So we could have a header. So our header would be hello, welcome to my first HTML website. So that will be your header. How it can also work is that, so you don't technically need HTML. Like, let me copy this. You don't technically need HTML. You could just type down hello, and it would work. But if you want like font or size, or all that jazz, you want buttons, you need HTML. So, speaking of the title tag, it won't work right now since I'm on code.org, and so the title tag won't necessarily work on like your program screen over here, but it will work on like how they name tabs on the website. So I could just type down first HTML web. I don't have the capability of showing you that the title tag works. It's just that I know that it works because I've seen people do it. So that's kind of how the formatting for like the head kind of works. If you want something at like the end of your website, that's when the so make sure your tags are in the right position, like they're so if you're making a new tag under body, you need to make sure that it is directly up below the start of the start tag in your head, in the head part. So a footer is technically like the end of your page, like sort of like a watermark kind of thing. So I could just type down my name. So HTML kind of squeezes things in. So if you think that this will be a lot different, like there'll be some space between these two scripts, these two excerpts, then you're wrong, because the title tag, you don't see that. The link tag, you don't see that. The head HTML and doc type HTML, you don't see that. The head end tag and the body start tag, you don't see those, and you don't see the body end tag or the HTML end tag. that's kind of how it works. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of how the formatting works, the basics of it. Um, uh, there are still a lot more things to HTML than just that. Um, on the next episodes, we're gonna talk about like the CSS files, um, the different sizes you could have to your text, um, and you could also what else? Um, and you could also add multiple other HTML files and also um, other CSS files as well. Sorry about that. And you could add buttons, each button leading to a different page. So yeah, that's kind of how it works. The formatting works, and I'll see you all in the next episode. And um, see you around. Bye.